We had one appointment come through on the Thursday. So we launched on the Tuesday. By the Thursday, and they booked straight into a meeting, and we met with them on the Thursday. They were a solid lead, $1 million. There's 7,000 in that, straight up
Wow.
of upfront commission. Yes, my name's Clint Corcoran. I'm the founder and director of Future State Finance, a mortgage broking business based on the Gold Coast in Queensland, but servicing Australia wide.
Amazing. And what problem did you have that made you reach out?
Look, after more than a decade in banking and broking, we had established a business based primarily on referral partners, so accountants, agents, and the like in the industry. And albeit a very strong referral source network, it was out of our control. And what we really wanted to be able to do was put in place something that we could have more control over the amount of leads, when we get leads, when we want to dial up, when we want to dial down, and then also be able to adjust our targeting. So obviously, if we're getting leads from real estate agents or buyers agents or accountants or financial planners, they're generally very specific and pigeonholed, and we're receiving the same types of leads from that referrer on a regular basis.
Hmm.
And what we wanted to be able to do was, pivot particular target markets depending on, topical issues at the time, or, if rates go up, could commercial be better at that point in time? So a little bit more control over what we could bring in.
Yeah, yeah, cool. If you did have any, what hesitations did you have before buying?
No, I had a few. I wouldn't say I'm not tech savvy, but I also
Mm.
wouldn't put myself down as being tech savvy. I
Hmm.
think there was a little bit of leap of faith that I would be able to get through, not so much the Meta platforms and the Google platforms, but just being able to set up the landing pages and get the tracking data sorted and all of
Hmm.
that sort of stuff. There was some hesitation there.
Hmm.
But I was reasonably confident after having the catch ups that it would be, the step and process would be easy enough to follow.
Hmm.
So yeah, took the leap, and it ended up being easier than I expected, which was good.
Amazing. What sort of got you over the line in the end as well?
So look, we'd never used an agency before, but we'd spoken
Mm.
to a few. Sometimes I feel like my LinkedIn inbox is a dating site for high school in that scenario. It just feels like every marketing place wants to hit you on LinkedIn. It
Yeah.
just, it's yeah, arduous at times.
Mm.
So it was, even though we hadn't tried it, we'd spoken to a few. And the thing I didn't like was giving away that control. And the other thing I didn't like was most of them were covering lots of industries, and that's
Mm.
okay. There were only a few that really focused in on our particular industry.
Mm.
And I know my industry pretty well, and I know my customer pretty well, and
Mm.
therefore I wanted the control in being able to market and target to who I want the way I want.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so,
perfect.
so we didn't have a
Nice.
bad marketing agency experience, but
Yeah.
we got peppered on LinkedIn by marketing agency after marketing agency, and all of the pitches were
Mm.
very much just, "We'll take it off your hands and run with it." But I wanted to be part of it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So then what's changed now for you?
So look, I wanted to dive into it. Um, as soon as I signed up, I think I had 3 weeks before the course. And one of my
Mm.
big things was that I wanted to get to the course and not have to do everything at the time. I wanted to get there and sort of be able to soak it in and absorb it, because I
Mm.
obviously haven't done it before. So I was pleasantly surprised that when I jumped into the platform and went through the setup process, I already had a Meta Ads account, but it hadn't been used much. I was able to set up the
Mm.
pixel data set. I was able to do the landing page. We jumped on Go High Level. We set up the landing
Mm.
pages, the funnels, the automations, which I thought all of it was potentially going to be out of my depth at the time, but
Yeah.
we were able to get it done. It meant that when we walked into the course, it was more about soaking in the content of what we wanted to do and how to get there. And then by the time we got to lunchtime of day two, we launched the meta ads, and
Mm-hmm.
we had you guys running around. They checked that the green light was on the pixels. That meant we were getting data. And then we ran from there. And as of today, actually, probably nearly to the minute 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
where five leads in, three of which have appointments booked or had an appointment.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, we're at this point in time, given 2 weeks, new data set, new pixel, no info. I'm assuming from what I sort of learnt in the course that Facebook's just pepper gunning people at the moment. We seem to be starting to get some traction, and the numbers seem to
Yeah.
be getting better over time, which is good.
Yeah. Do you have any like results or stats or good numbers that you could fire at me that you've had so far? Like these
Well,
leads you're getting, are they like good conversions? The people that are booking.
yeah, so we've got look, to be completely honest, we had a couple of no-shows that have responded to us. We've only had
Mm-hmm.
one that hasn't responded at all, and that
Mm,
was, I expected that's going to happen at times.
mm,
We had one appointment come through on the Thursday, so we launched on the Tuesday. By the Thursday, and they booked straight into a meeting, and we met with them on the Thursday.
mm. Yeah.
They were a solid lead, $1 million. There's 7,000 in that, straight up
Wow.
of upfront commission.
Mm,
It won't necessarily be something that moves immediately, but it's there and it
mm,
will move. And then
mm.
we've got another appointment this week, which will be good to go and should sit around the same sort of value, around that $1 million. So, and look, we were pretty realistic. Like, we've been in the industry long enough that um, we know we're just a different type of industry to
Mm,
a plumber or an e-commerce store.
mm.
We're going to go out, 1,000 people are going to watch our ads. Maybe only 10 of those people are even looking at doing any lending at that point in time. So,
Yeah.
to be honest, well, I was probably expecting we would maybe get nothing or not much in the first month and then sort of build from there. But at this point, it's run a lot hotter than that straight away.
Love that. What effect has it had on you personally or like professionally so far?
Well, look, it's obviously having a another lead flow source outside of referrers. It gives you comfort, it helps you sleep at night as a business owner. I think it's, as a
Mm,
business owner, you're always wondering where the next revenue option is going to come through for you. Um, but it's been a topical period for us in finance, right? Like, we've had Labor announcing the new budget. We've had RBA movement starting to go back up, and it's really given us an opportunity to set ads that fit around topical issues. Whereas I feel
mm.
like if we had have gone with an agency, we would probably have an idea for what you want to do and then wait 2 or 3 weeks, and the
Yeah.
traction in those things happen at the time.
Yeah. Mm.
So there was some of the stuff that we launched, within a day of the announcement, we were able to get an ad up and loaded and done. And probably, to be honest, I've realized that it's not that bad having to get in front of the camera. I was never against it, but I'm not never going to be an influencer. But just the comfort of realizing that in our industry, getting in front of the camera is going to be better than putting a static picture up. People want to know you and trust you. And, doing that more regularly, it becomes a lot more comfortable, a lot quicker than you would expect. So,
Yeah.
but look, the primary one is around the more we know that we have consistent leads available to us, the easier it is to
Mm.
sleep at night, knowing what the next month and quarter look like.
What did you value learning the most and appreciate the most about the workshop, the program, the support you've gotten, etc.?
To be honest, just understanding how it works. Like, we had a Meta Ads account, and we had, boosted posts before.
Mm,
And realistically, I think we were just paying money to let it sit in front of more people. And getting an understanding of how the whole process actually works, that, we can put it in front of the right people, but if we track that effectively, we can then put it back in front of the right people. We can get Meta
mm,
to start to understand who the right audience is for us, who engages with us. And, overall, we're obviously paying money to put the ads in front of people. but I don't want to pay money to put ads in front of people who aren't going to engage with us or don't want to see us. I don't want to annoy
Mm,
anyone by being in front of someone who doesn't need us.
mm,
So getting an understanding of the mechanics, I guess, in the background of how we're setting up the ad, we're setting up the landing page, and then we're trying to
mm.
understand the implications of when someone does engage, what they do next, and then how we can make sure that we're, showing our service to the people that want to see it. I think that was
Yeah.
probably the biggest one. Um, Outside of that, probably, to be honest, just an understanding that sometimes I think the catch ups with agencies, there was a lot of chatter about um, how hard it is to do what I was hoping that I would be able to do. And then
Mm,
understanding that if you have, through the school page and the posts and the instructions and the like, plus all of you guys, that you can get through it.
yeah.
There's going to be hits and misses and tweaks and things along the way in the early part, but it's definitely not insurmountable to be able to get it up, running, and getting the result you want out of it. It's just about putting
Mm.
some time into it.
Yeah, amazing. And then last but not least, if anyone was unsure about booking a call or they were sort of like on the fence, what would you say to them?
I would say do it. Like I said,
Mm,
I don't think there's anything more comforting than knowing that you're not handing over control of your business to someone who doesn't understand your business or getting them to deliver your message to your customers when they don't know intimately who you are or your customer is, and we do know that. And if you're a
mm,
business owner and you're good at what you do, you will know who you are and what you deliver and what your customers want from you and who they are. And I just don't know whether there would ever be an opportunity to articulate that to an agency in the way that in reverse you can learn to do it and you know what that is for you.